Hey guys, welcome back. So, in our last video, we have understood what is HTML semantics. Now, in this video, we are going to learn about special characters, how to use special characters in our HTML documents. See, there will be some special characters like this first column. I have mentioned few reference characters that we don't find these symbols or mathematical symbols directly on a keyboard. So it might be a challenging task if someone asks us to display this summation symbol on our web page. If someone asks us to display this n array of a product symbol on our HTML document, or let's say element of symbol in our HTML document, or any general web page. To display this on a website, we will need to insert these characters. And how do we insert it? Because in our keyboard these symbols are not available. And second set of special characters are nothing but these less than, greater than, or ampersand, or let's say double quotation, or this cent symbol, pound, yen, euro, copyright symbol, or registered trademark symbol. And also, let's say these are the list of currencies, right? So we cannot display these currency sets just by typing some. We don't have a dedicated key actually. The thing is, we don't have a dedicated key, and for that, to solve that, how do we display these characters on our web page if we don't have a dedicated key? The answer is, when we type these representation, either entity name, entity number, let's say when you want to display special character, what you need is either entity name or entity number. In entity number, we have two types of number: decimal and hexadecimal. So if we have entity name or entity number of that particular special character, then we can display that particular character on our HTML document. So let's go back to our code editor and see practically. Here I have created a file called as chapter 20 special characters.html, and I have added all the boilerplates. By now you might be very familiar with what exactly I have done here. So inside body, what I'll do, I'll try to add a h1 tag. Let's say this is a random text. This is where I will display my special characters. Let's see how does it look in my front end. This is a random text. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, let's go back to our sheet here. And let's say if I want to display this summation symbol. Okay. And let's display this for all symbol as well. How do we display? All you just need to do is, I'll give you access to this practice sheet as well, so you can simply copy this and paste it. By using entity name, I'll just copy this entity name entirely and then go back here and I'll paste it over here. This is a representation of for all symbol. What is it? Ampersand and the text called for all, and then semicolon, right? Save it, and let's go back to our browser and see for all symbol is being displayed. The same thing I can do by using entity number. And what is the entity number? You can just get entity number from here. Copy this and come back and replace it. Wherever, this is just an example, so whenever in future, whenever you want to display a character, special character that you know it is not available in our keyboard, then definitely it will have a entity name code, entity number code, or entity number code or entity name code. If it is entity number code, it will be either decimal code or hexadecimal code. This is right now is a decimal code. How do I tell? I'll explain that later on, decimal and hexadecimal. But for now, you understand that you can display a character by entity number or entity name. Let me go back to my browser and see. I have displayed for all symbol, and let's display what is this summation symbol by entity name. Save. See, so we have successfully added this this special character called as summation mark as well. Now, what if I want to add some other, similarly you can use entity number as well. Let's say copy, go back here and paste your number, save it. See, entity name, number, entity name, number. No matter what you use, the displayed symbol will be this exact same. And why the question, you might have a question that why do we exactly use entity name or entity number? See, entity name is easy to remember, so our researchers or scientists have created this thing. It is easy to remember for human, but you must be knowing that numbers are machine language, so machines love numbers, so that a vast support for all browsers or all older versions or newer versions, support is available for numbers, and that's the reason numbers are widely used. If you see here, if we have icons as well, right, for basic HTML icons, so we don't have entity numbers in many of those, we just have entity numbers. So these are decimal number, these are hexadecimal number. I'll tell you in a while how we will be applying this decimal number and hexadecimal number, but for now let's see some more example. Let's say if you want to display this less than symbol or greater than symbol. Now you might ask me a question that, okay, you just now said that if we don't have these less than or greater than symbols in our keyboard, then we use these entity name and number. But now we already have less than or greater than symbols, and also we have this ampersand symbol as well in our keyboard. So why don't we use these? See, the issue is we are not writing plain text right here. Let's say this is an HTML code, and later on we will be programming as well. So this file will keep on getting more and more complex. We'll be adding styles, we'll be adding programming logics, and this is a bare HTML as well. Even in bare HTML, you see we have certain symbols reserved for tags, less than or greater than or forward slash. These things are reserved. Let's say if I want to display a less than or greater than symbol, let's say we want to display this less than symbol, and if I click on save and if I go back here, okay, it's getting displayed well. Okay, so what if I want to type something, this is the less symbol. Okay, alright, so now let's go ahead and see some more examples. What if I want to use this less than or greater than symbol? What I need to do, just come here, click on entity number or entity name. Let's say I'll copy this entity name, and these are just some examples, and let's say if you don't find some examples or some special characters over here, you don't need to worry, you just need to Google the particular symbol and get the entity name. It can be easily found, okay, so you don't have to worry about it. Let's say this less than symbol, I want to copy this entity name, and then here h1 paste it, save, and go back here. See, we have this less than symbol, right? And what if I want to use some other symbol? Let's say I want to use this copyright symbol. I'll use this entity name or entity number. I will recommend you to start using entity number because it is supported by most of the browsers. And if you want to remember, you can use this as well. I'll use number for now. Paste this, save it, and see. Even if you don't find, let's say if I haven't added any some random symbols or characters, these are not the all characters in the world, right? So there might be some characters that I haven't listed here in this particular sheet. So what you need to do, you just need to simply Google the entity number or search for entity name or entity number. So let's say if I haven't added this copyright symbol over here, then how do you find the entity number or entity name? Let's say you will add copyright symbol HTML code. You just need to type this and you will get the entity number. You will copy this, come back to your browser or come back to your code editor and then paste it, right? Save it, and if you see, it will be applied. So this is how you find symbols, I mean the entity name or entity number, and add it to your HTML document. So I hope you understood how to add special characters. For your practice purpose, I have added these examples, and I'll give you access to this sheet as well so that you can go ahead and practice. And yeah, I want to tell you one thing. This entity name syntax, I wanted to give you an example. The syntax of this particular entity name is, this will always starts from ampersand, and then we'll have entity name and then closed by semicolon. And this is a general syntax of entity name. This is how you identify if it is an entity name or not. See, if you analyze here, entity name, ampersand, entity name and semicolon, ampersand, entity name and semicolon, ampersand, entity name and semicolon, right? So this is the syntax, ampersand, entity name and semicolon. And what is the syntax for entity number? In number we have decimal number and hexadecimal number. So first thing is, it will starts from ampersand symbol, that's for sure. And then what we'll have number. So how do you represent number? By this pound symbol or hash symbol. And then here entity number, and then it will close by semicolon, right? Now this, if it is just entity number, then we say it as an entity decimal number. And in case if it is a hexadecimal code, then how do you apply? You will have an ampersand symbol, this hash pound symbol, and then if it is an hexadecimal code, then you need to add this small case x and entity hexa code, and then end by semicolon, right? This is the format of entity name. This is the format of entity decimal name, or let's say here if you can write it decimal code, and here we can write it as hexa code, right? So this might be easy for you to remember. So first thing is ampersand symbol, entity name and semicolon. Second is ampersand, pound and decimal code and semicolon. Third is ampersand, pound, small case x and then hexa code and then semicolon. This is the syntax for these special characters. Let's analyze. So if you take any entity name, it will start from ampersand and then sum. This is sum is nothing but the name of this particular entity and then semicolon. The same format is being followed over here. And if you see entity number, then you can see ampersand symbol and then this hash and then 160 is nothing but the decimal code, and then it ends with semicolon. Here if you see less than symbol, then we have ampersand and hash symbol 60 and then it ends with the semicolon, right? So this is the decimal code. The same thing what if it is an hexa code, what it will be? It will be nothing but and sorry, this is not hexacode here. I haven't mentioned over here, right? Okay, here are some hexacode. So here are some hexacode, but you don't see any ampersand symbol or any this formatting being not followed over here. But let's say if you find this code on internet, then how do you apply? Let's say I want to use this particular symbol, one sign. Okay, so if I just copy this and go back to my code editor, and then let's say let's try to type this or display this particular code. Let's save it, and if I see on my browser, let's close this one. Okay, this plain number is being displayed over here. But we wanted this particular symbol, currency symbol, one symbol, but we are not able to see that because it is not in the right format. We know it is a hexacode. But it is not in a right syntax. So how do we apply this syntax? So just now I have explained you what is the syntax of hexacode. You just need to add this ampersand and then hash and then small case x, and then in the end you need to add semicolon. Once you do this, save it, and let's see your formatting got correct and the character is being displayed, right? So the same thing goes with let's say if I want to add some Bitcoin symbol, Bitcoin sign. Let's say this is 8383 Bitcoin decimal code. So if I want to display that H1, if I just type 8383, if you see on the front end, just the plain number will be displayed. But I don't want to display number, I want to display this particular symbol, but this particular character, right? So this is decimal code and this is hexadecimal code. So I'm using this decimal code. So what is the syntax of decimal code? As I explained you, it will be ampersand symbol and then we'll have this hash and then it will end by semicolon. Save it. Now if you see, Bitcoin symbol is getting displayed. So this is how you identify whether it is a decimal code or hexadecimal code, decimal code or hexadecimal code, or if it is an entity name, and use these decimal code, hexadecimal code or entity name accordingly with correct syntax. Because if you see some online resources, it will just give you this code 2601. You don't know whether it is a hexa code or decimal code or what exactly it is. You need to identify, correctly check, and then apply a syntax so that this particular icon gets displayed on the web page, right? So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. I hope you understood what exactly is this special character and how to use it on your web pages, right? In our next video, we'll see how to use emojis as well. So because this video is quite long, so I want to make a separate video for that emojis, right? So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.